Man, welcome back to another episode of the Think Successfully Room. This is a platform where we talk about tech news and how it might bridge with your health and money. I am your host, QB So Effing Amazing. This is my guy, Blaqamore. This is Sis Tiffany Ingram. And if you're not thinking about what's coming next, you're already behind, you motherfuckers. Man, how you,
Okay.
man, that shit slick or what, man?
Get it.
Listen,
Yeah.
I was like, ooh.
So, man, I'm actually excited, man, because this is our first time with all three of us on at one time, and man, it was unexpected, but I'm happy we here, man. So, man, before we get into the episode, like the beef of it, right? Imagine if, like, you know, we all done woke up in the middle of the night, or we felt like something was going on, whether that was chest pain, whether that was a headache. Like, sometimes you just know when your body is off, right? And, you know, let's say for some reason you wanted to contact a doctor to see what was going on, right? And you call the hospital, or you call whatever number they have provided for you, and they have you waiting for a long time, right? Let's say that wait time was 45 minutes, and then somebody finally picked up and was like, look, the next time we can get you in is probably like 1.5 to 2 years from now. You know what I'm saying? So now we have to ask ourselves, like, what's the reason for that, right? So we're in a situation or a crisis where we're just running out of primary care doctors, you know. And what tech companies are doing, hospitals, they're trying to bring in AI to compensate for the shortage that's happening. And what's happening is that the doctors that are available, they're being swarmed or crammed with administrative work, you know what I'm saying? So they can't really focus on the patients like they want to focus on patients, right? So the AI job is to come in and maybe focus on that administrative work for them, so that they can focus on actually doing their job and attending to those patients. So man, Black, I'm gonna start with you, man. Like, what would be your reaction, man, if you called the goddamn hospital, man, and finally spoke to somebody, and you needed to see them like ASAP, and they told you, like, look, man, it's gonna be 2 years before we can get you in and set you an appointment?
That's why I try to do everything in my power to never have to call these people to begin with, because what first, let me ask y'all this. I know you just asked me, but I want to ask y'all, how do y'all really feel about this?
About the AI, them bringing in
about
AI?
AI potentially replacing your primary physician, or being given to people who don't have one to begin with because of the shortage.
So it was a section in one of these articles that I had read, and it's hard for me to say for real, because I haven't been in a situation where I needed help immediately, and I don't really know the devastating feeling behind somebody telling me you got to wait 2 years before you can see one. All I can say is that if that was the case, and let's say at that point they told me 2 years and I already been waiting 1.5 years, and they finally, released news like, look, we have an AI powered assistance that can at least get you access to the healthcare system. I think I probably would just be relieved at the fact that I'm able to have access in some way, even if it's not a physical person. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion as of now. I don't know exactly what that feeling would be, or what my opinion would be if it was real, but I think I would be satisfied with just having access to something.
You feel the same, Tiffany?
So I will say this. I've been in a situation where I've been told, look, we won't be able to see you for a year. So, not to go into too much detail, but like, I was diagnosed with sleep apnea, and my primary care physician was like, hey, you're going to have to wait a year out to get your sleep study. Now, mind you, in between the time I'm driving because I commuted to work, and I got to a point where I was falling asleep behind the wheel in broad daylight, right? That's just how bad it got. And I didn't quite understand what was happening. And so luckily, I bridged my healthcare with VA care and I was able to get in to see a physician. But I'm going to tell you right now, if there is an AI option, I'm taking that, because what I've done and what I've kind of talked through in a couple of our previous episodes is how I've leveraged AI to really help me to guide the conversations with my doctor. Like, hey, here are my symptoms. Here's what's happening. Let me translate it in words that you will understand so we can get to a diagnosis a lot faster. Because what we don't know is, I don't know if my doctor got straight A's in school or barely made it, right? We
That's
don't
true.
know what level of competency these doctors have. And again, it's no shade, but I've had some very, very good primary care physicians and I've had some horrible ones. So you just don't know what you're getting. At least with the computer, I'm getting a straight, unemotional answer. If you don't like me, I won't know it, right? You're a computer program. But there's also a negative side, right? So just sticking on the cusp, or just the ideology around just having access to be able to say, okay, at least I know I'm not in this ballpark. I'm not having a heart attack. Maybe it's something less serious, right? And so again, I would be open to that. But having AI just solely treat me from head to toe, no, we're not gonna do
Yeah.
that. There needs to
And
be a human in the loop somewhere.
I wanna piggyback off of, or I wanna follow up with what Tiff just said, is that she done been in that situation where she had to wait a year. I haven't been in that situation personally, but I know somebody that had to wait for healthcare. It wasn't a year, but it was still about 4 months. So she had, I believe it was kidney stones. Very, very painful too. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? She was very in pain, so when she first realized that she was having pain, she immediately made a phone call. And of course, and how I took it was is that, and I ain't trying to make everything about a race thing, but it was like, man, would they had more of a urgency if this was a white woman called? Like, I'm just curious. You know what I'm saying? So she called them, telling them like, look, I'm in pain. You know what I'm saying? Don't really know what it is. And they just took a stab at it, like, man, you may have kidney stones, but our surgeon won't be able to get you in until for 120 days from now. And she was very devastated about that, because now she had to go 4 months of being in pain every single day until they finally got her in. And then when they finally did the procedure, they didn't even take all the kidney stones out at the same time. So they cut her open once, took what they could out, sewed her up, whatever, and then they had to go back in her again, and she had to wait another month and a half, 2 months for them to take the rest of it out. Um, and then when they finally took the rest of the kidney stones out, and she was sent back home, maybe a couple weeks after that, her womb busted open. And when
Mm.
when she called the surgeon and let him know, like, look, my wound is open, like the stitches came, or you know what, these dumbasses put staples in her skin, and the staples came off. And like, she like, look, my wound, my incision, it's open. Yeah, they told her to put some gauze in it, and I was like, how is it going to heal if you just stuff gauze in it? I just
Mhm.
feel like it'd be more professional if he realized, like, look, this is your work. You did this.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you rush her back in, do it correctly to where that her scar can heal the right way? She had to search for 15 different people
Yeah.
before she found one that was willing to do the job and sew her up the correct way. You know what I'm saying? So I think in her situation as well, if she had access to an AI that was able to, tell her exactly how to go about it, or at least something that was sophisticated enough to let her know how to go about it, I feel like it would have made that journey for her a lot less painful emotionally. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And then one
Hmm.
more thing, then Blaqamore, I'm gonna turn it back to you. I swear it's coming back. So Cap, you ready to catch it? Um, Because, well, we talked about on this episode, well, it was I think maybe it was like our second tape and maybe third. I can't remember. Remember the gentleman that I told you, Q, that used AI to kind of self-diagnose himself because he has this rare illness and
Yeah,
even the doctors couldn't figure it out. And he
yeah, I
shared
remember that.
this with me. Yeah, he shared this with me because he came to a seminar that was teaching and he said, I had to use AI to really get to the truth about what was my illness. And once I brought the information that I had received from ChatGPT, I believe,
Mm.
they were able to get him scheduled for the surgery and get him on a treatment plan because the doctors didn't even know. So again, I just want to throw that in there. Okay. Back to
Yeah,
you.
that's a scary thought. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go back to Blaqamore, man, about the original question, brother.
I
Well, no,
know.
I mean, y'all all are sharing very positive stories, and how I'm thinking about it in a much more dark way.
Hmm.
Uh,
Uh, and the way I'm thinking about it is probably further in the future. However, maybe not too far to where we could probably still live to see it. It's like a foot in the door technique, if you will. Starts off with the diagnosing itself and administrative work, offloading some things. As we progress and we get more proficient in more complex, difficult tasks, and then we learn how to let AI delegate things that we once found to be too difficult. Like there was a point in time where people was looking at Shakespeare like, man, how the hell you write that? How you write that?
yeah,
Now we
Hmm.
can have ChatGPT write whatever. It may become a time. Well, it's already a time where robots is doing surgery, right?
mm,
Hmm.
There's just somebody looking, and it's the robot doing its own thing. I guess my question would be first, as we keep letting AI get further and further into our bodies, dealing with our health, becoming more and more of our doctor. Is there a place where y'all would draw the line where y'all like, nah, humans only,
Hmm.
can't
yeah.
afford the AI thing? Where do y'all draw that line?
Damn, Tiff, you wanna, or you know what? I go before I
Yep.
become a forgetful motherfucker. I think where I would draw the line is like sometimes I think people just want answers on, you know what I'm saying, as far as like I don't think AI can replace that connection that you would get. You know what I'm saying? It's just certain things AI can't read when it comes to a connection. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I would draw the line as far as like when it comes to dealing with inside, like internally, I never allow AI to like I guess tell
Would you
me
allow a
anything
chip
that
in your body, like a biological interface system cortex chip? Would you allow that?
nah, not at all. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what that like in different terms. That's I mean, if you allow AI to get to you too much, I mean, in a sense, that's what it, you allowing technology to
Mm.
take control here in some way, if you allow it to get to that point. But I just think I I believe if you do come across, you know, this situation, just use the AI as a way to access and get answers to make to at least put you at ease. You know what I'm saying? Don't take advice as far as like what to do as far as healing yourself or anything like that. So that's where I would draw the line. And as me and Tiff say all the time, like when it comes to AI or artificial intelligence, it don't matter what you use, you have to draw a line somewhere in every aspect. You know what I'm saying? So definitely look at it as a tool. And even though it's a shortage in the healthcare system as far as physicians, and they're trying to bring in AI to compensate for that. The matter of the fact is, it just can't. AI can't do what the physicians can do, which is build a relationship, which is really know the patient. So that's
Yeah.
that's definitely where I would draw my line.
Unless they put a chip in your body.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well,
That's different.
and here's the thing. Now that's invasive. So to your point, right? When I talk about AI and just integrating it, implementing it, right? There always has to be a human in the loop somewhere. Like my philosophy is AI is here as a tool to be used by us as humans. So to streamline administrative stuff so it frees up the physician to actually see patients and to Q's point, build those relationships, that's the important part. So I really want to truly understand what's the pain point that you're trying to solve? Healthcare industry, right? To free
Yeah.
up your physicians. Physicians still need to, like, even when I get stuff from, let's just say ChatGPT, and I take it to my doctor, we're still going to have a conversation about it because you are the expert in that lane. I don't want a robot operating on me. I want a human. I want a competent human, though, right? And if you need to augment and utilize AI to help you navigate, it's just like, hey, I don't really fully know how to drive this car, but I know that between me and driving in a Tesla, we're going to get from point A to point B safely.
Mhm.
AI is going to help me get there. You are still in charge. If you need to step on the brake, step on the doggone brake and stop. So you just can't let AI run rampant, and especially when it comes to health, right? But again, I'm seeing a lot of articles. It seems like once a week, once a month, where Black women specifically are dying from something, right?
Mhm.
The physician's not listening to them, right? There's something going on in my body. I'm telling you there's something wrong, and no one's listening. The physicians are not listening. And so to me, it's like, well, AI, give me the language that I need to communicate with these fools. So again, I'm armed with the information that I need.
Yeah. So, I wanted to add a story in there for you. I wanted to share a story that I had came across as well. So, very short story. So it was a woman that was involved. Her name was Tammy, right? And her doctor had passed away. And because of that, because of her primary doctor passing away, she was left searching for care. You know what I'm saying? So, her appointment time is stressed for years. You know what I'm saying? So, as we mentioned, we could just imagine how that feels when you gotta wait for 2-3 years to try to get appointed with somebody. And eventually she found support through a virtual care or AI assistant healthcare. And as I mentioned, the technology, it really didn't even phase her for real. The fact that it was technology, she was just happy that she had access to the
Hmm.
healthcare, and it provided her with hope. Um, it is but it is a question I want to ask y'all though. Do you feel like how far, I guess, like with this concept, do you feel like this can go on a long time, or do you feel like eventually they're going to have to try to, whatever problem this is, they're going to have to try to solve it because AI just can't compensate for that forever as far as the shortage?
I don't feel AI could compensate for it forever without creating a much larger issue for humanity that turns into a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
That's why I said my mind went somewhere very dark. Like y'all share some wonderful, uplifting stories. Uh, however,
However,
as far as we made it with AI, I'm like, I want to put the stop sign like pretty soon. I don't want to go too much further down this path before we go back to like a root cause and find another way for the answer. This is like
Yeah.
a answer to hold us over, but I personally would like a more sustained answer that doesn't
Yeah.
involve so much dependency on AI and silver to run AI and electricity bills and water and all the other things.
Yep.
And this remind me of a conversation that we had. I don't know if I talked to Blaqamore about this. Remember the Claimable joint we talked about?
hmm
Claimable.ai. Have you heard of that, bro?
Claimable?
Claimable.
What's that?
So Claimable is in its sole purpose is to help with insurance denials. You know what I'm saying? So let's think of let's say someone filed an insurance claim, right? And for whatever reason they got denied medication, right? And they probably been waiting a long time for their medication. So what Claimable does is it takes, those denial letters, medical history, stories that can be related to your particular situation, whatever that may be, to draft its own letter or appeal letter, and ship it off to the insurance company. And they have a 90% approval rate, success rate. So that right there was kind of like, okay, that was a valuable tool for patients to use, you know what I'm saying? Because we all know somebody that's probably on a lot of medication, constantly got to reach out to insurance companies to get medicated. So tools like Claimable was also helpful. But then, you know, now they got tools like this that they're putting into the healthcare system as well. And I just think with Claimable isn't as bad. I see, you know what I'm saying, where the use for it comes in at. But I would say my only problem with this and the healthcare system is the people that stand in those communities, like those poor communities, may not have access to an actual physician the way that somebody with money would. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
The
this
landscape will look totally different. And I think that being cognizant. So I'm with you, Blaqamore. Yes, I wear a shirt that says I'm your AI accountability partner. I've been cheerleading AI, but I also understand the dark side of it too, because
yeah
I'm starting to see it. You know, we've talked about different topics, you know, how AI has been instrumental in children potentially creating crimes or ending their lives. So I think us as a nation here in the US, like the the folks in Europe, they built a governance program that is very, very stringent. It holds these AI platforms accountable to make sure that they're at a certain standard before they even hit the market, right? We are just in a race to become the first at what? At our own self demise. So that's why I tell people, like, you really need to understand what you're utilizing AI for. What is the goal? Like,
yeah
what's your problem that you're trying to solve? And you always, 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 AI should not be operating on its own. We know it hallucinates, we know it lies, or however, we know
Lying their ass off sometimes. Oh, I'm
yeah
sorry.
it. No, it does. And so with
I'll be
this,
mad.
and that's where we have to be, you know, it can't just be rah rah rah, it's all good. It's like, no, what's the good, bad, and ugly? They've created something in a test environment, a program that they can't even control, us as
yeah
humans. It's like that movie, oh my god, it was a movie where the AI went out of control and was trying to really like blow up the whole, well, I don't know if I'm supposed to say it, but it was trying to destroy the whole infrastructure that we have in the US. I can't remember that movie. It was I something.
I
But
I
the
robot
robot.
AI was, no, it wasn't I Robot. It was a guy he played. I'll look it up. But
yeah I'm gonna
it
have to check
was
it out.
it was like a part of the Department of Defense. And there was this AI, and it constructed this plan to try to uh, demolish our infrastructure because we were, as humans, a hindrance to ourselves. And so it
Mm,
made the decision to say, hey, we're just going to do this and start over. So I think that's very possible because again, they're building things that we cannot control. So we have to always, always, always put the proper parameters in place to make sure that this is governed and it's operating within these four walls that we have defined.
you
So that's my
you know what
spiel.
stuck with me now that you said that, Tiff, what stuck with me is I forgot who I heard say this, but they said I think the dumbest thing humanity has ever done was create something that they cannot understand.
Hmm.
And we talking about, you know what I'm saying? You remember when you had when it came to machines or computer, whatever that may have been, whatever you wanted that computer to do or that machine to do, you had to reprogram it to do exactly that. You know,
Hmm.
we dealing with machines that they learn from their own mistakes. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
whatever they do and they realize it was a mistake, they know how to correct it by themselves without a human doing it for them. So I think that's what when we talk about artificial intelligence, that's the scariest part for me. You know what I'm saying? Is
Yep.
because when you think of movies like I Robot or the movie you just mentioned, you know what I'm saying? That I feel like
I'm
that
looking
type of
for it.
shit can I feel like that type of shit can happen for real. But going off of what Blaqamore be saying is that now, you know, we be treating AI like it's Google or something, you know what I'm saying? So we'll put a prompt in and we trust whatever
Hmm.
it's saying instead of realizing the fact that, you know, you really have to, in order for you to get an accurate answer, you really have to conversate with it. You know what I'm saying? Let it get to know who you are, exactly what the situation is, what problem do you want it to solve, and I feel like you would
Yep.
much accurate answer. So whatever this is that they're trying to implement, patients will have to treat it the same exact way that you would treat a Chat GPT, maybe even a Claude, a Gemini, or whatever that may be. You know what I'm saying? So instead of just asking it a single question and not knowing if you're going to get an accurate response, actually hold a conversation with it so you can get a much accurate response and allow it to get to know you. And that's what machine learning is, right? The more and more you talk
Yeah.
to it, the more that AI begins to know who you are, and the more that AI knows who you are, the more it can give you an accurate answer. So
Well,
definitely.
and two, understanding. So the movie is called Eagle Eye. It came out in 2008. You know, I
Well,
was
I ain't
gonna get
heard
it
of that
before
one.
we got on.
I ain't heard of
Yeah.
that one.
Eagle Eye. Yeah.
Okay.
So check it out. It and also something I even learned. So I went to uh, I was listening to something. It was on some workshop or something. I don't know. I just have AI playing in the background, like different trainings or whatever. And it talked about
Mhm.
understanding how like all these training models were pre-trained on information up to a certain date. A lot of them are like August of 2025, right? So
Mhm.
anything else after August of 2025, it has to look it up to see what you're asking about. So if it's something January 2026, it's looking that information up, understanding what these models are pre-trained on. So again, if something like this is being released to the public, right? This is how you utilize this intelligence to get the best answer. You need to give it prompts like this. Like you need to be prescriptive like this. Like training people on how to effectively use this model, because we also talked about how a lot of these models are like on a subscription service type of time frame, meaning
Mhm.
I can use Claude or Claudina to a certain degree, and it's going to tell me my access is cut off even though I'm a paying member. Right? You can't use it again to 3:30. I got stuff to
Damn.
do. Or you can buy more credits. No, I'll wait till 3:30. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not
You
paying
can
more
get me
money.
with that way. Oof. I be I'm for real. I done gave Perplexity a lot of money.
Listen, I stop. I'm like, you put a pause on me, I'm gonna put a pause on you. Let me hop to something else real quick. And I'm seeing that happening. Uh, and so also there's another study out, y'all, and I'm gonna shut
Uh,
up after this, I swear. There's another study out. Y'all gonna be like, we not inviting her back no more.
No,
No more. But there's another study out that shows that people that make a certain amount of annual salary gravitate to certain tools. So you can almost bet your bottom dollar that the folks under $100,000 is using Facebook. AI,
yeah.
right? And that's what this study shows. The
Mm,
folks that are making 100,000 and above are using Claude. So what does that mean? The
Yeah.
quality of information that these tools are using after it's trained on all of the past information is like
mm,
it's going to determine the substance that you or the output that you get out of it. So the
Mhm.
thought process is, hey, if you want a higher quality output, you better be using Claude, because the people that got money and maybe have a little sense. So they say, that's what the study is saying. Don't come for me in the comments. They're saying that these folks are using this. So when you think about what we're talking about, like who is going to be utilizing this information and how are they going to train it to best help people, I think that's important. And
You
that's
know,
where I'm
that's
done. I'm turning my mic off.
that's an interesting study too. Like that makes sense too, man. Like shit, I done got a pay raise, man. I had my evaluation today, man. They put me at 100,000, man. I think I'm finna go get Claude, man.
congratulations.
Yeah, man. You know what? I might check out I might check out Chat GPT. Yeah, it might cost me the same amount. I'm a weigh out my options. Yeah, that's an interesting, that's something to think about, because that's true. Only because, and then as we discussed before about the whole utility thing, that shit is gonna matter too. The amount of money you make, especially if it becomes a utility. So now we're not talking about subscription based. Now it's based on how much you use, which is how much will determine how much you will pay. You know what I'm saying? So that's definitely gonna matter. Yeah, so I think this conversation or this topic in particular were for those uh who may go get them frequent checkups. You know, you may be somebody that go to the hospital once every 6 months, once every year, you know, and you might just be somebody that's want to stay on top of that stuff and try to catch something at its early stage before it get out of hand, and you know, and to run into a problem, you know, like this. So I feel like this information could be useful for those guys that like to stay in that like to go get those yearly checkups. And if you do happen to run into an issue like this, that's probably the cause of it. You know, they just don't have enough people on hands to be able to serve you at the moment. You know, so man, Black and Tiff, is it anything y'all want to add to this topic, man?
Just do everything you can to maintain as much sovereignty over your life as possible, from your mind to your health. You don't want to be in a position where you have to absolutely depend on something, because the quality of these systems often deteriorate as they become more expensive, and the next thing you know, you done became a de facto slave. That's what I
Hmm.
say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not
What
the de
about you,
facto
Tiff?
slave.
Facto slave.
Listen, I'm a Blaqamore. Y'all know what I tell y'all all the time. Like, here she go preaching again. You need to understand how AI is going to impact your quality of life, meaning where is it showing up? How is it showing up? Right? There are some doctors that use AI to transcribe your notes when you're doing a doctor's visit. You just need to
Hmm.
understand what's being used with that information, how it's being used, how it's being protected. Is it going to be sold to insurance companies that will ultimately impact your insurance rates going forward? Like, really just understand how it's playing a part in your life, because it is, and ask the informed questions to make sure that you're protected and you understand how to leverage it should you need to.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, I'm in with this, y'all. I think in my opinion, you know, if we are already in a situation to begin with, you know, before health even gets to that point to where you have to depend on the healthcare system, because I mean, y'all know how I feel about the healthcare system. I don't really care for it, but you know, you can't convince everybody. Um, but you know, as long as we take care of ourselves to begin with, you would never find yourself in a situation where you'll be having to wait a year and a half, maybe even 2 years. You know what I'm saying? If you just live right, you do what's right for the body, you know, you won't be in that situation to where you feeling, or you're feeling down, or just emotionally in pain because you can't get the help that you need, you know. Again, and if you are in a situation, going off of what Tiffany said, is man, make sure you use AI the correct way. Treat it as if you're talking to someone so that it can learn who you are. I do feel like all large language models are the same. So the same way you would talk to, you know, whether that's Gemini, Claude, or whatever they're using, you know, you talk to them all the same. You know what I'm saying? Allow it to get to know who you are, exactly what's going on as far as your health, what the problem is, and the more and more you talk to it, the better answer or better response you will get. You know, so definitely try to avoid using it like you would use Google. Yeah. So without that being said, y'all, we make sure y'all subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow Blaqamore on IG, follow Tiff on IG, follow myself on IG. We'll have those links in the description. And yeah, y'all, as long as we see the support, we're gonna keep this consistent. So this page is now strictly about AI news, AI, you know, tech, and how AI can merge with health, how AI can merge with money, anything AI, we gonna discuss it. So without that being said, y'all, life is good. Life is wonderful. Be blessed to be alive. Self-sufficiency is how you survive. To the kings and queens, to the guys and goddess forever and always, think successfully. It's excellent.